Without further ado, I'm going to invite the CEO of the fantastic Valega team. I have to tell you guys, you are an extraordinary team. You participated all the core team in every single session. That shows commitment. It shows that you are all on the same line, and I hope it brought you all closer together. Our previous successes, such as Easy Send, such as Align and Smart Mile from previous waves, they were very similar. They were all the team very engaged, and I very much appreciate this. So, CEO of Valega, Sven.Martinsson, the floor is yours. You have 5 minutes to pitch, share your screen, and we'll take it to the Q&A. Good luck.
All right, thank you very much, and thank you for having me. And also, Jacob, thank you so much for that very inspiring keynote. I'm going to share my screen here with everybody. I guess everybody can see my screen here right now. Is that correct?
Yes, correct.
Beautiful. So I'll jump right into it. So a couple of years ago, we actually failed our first blockchain company. And that was because we were too idealistic. We had entered this financial Wild West without any regulations or general trust from the public, and also a lot of skepticism.
Sven, I think I can see actually your time running there.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Let's see. Is that better now?
Yes. Exactly.
Yeah, beautiful. So yeah, so a lot of skepticism from the general market, and what we did was to kind of change everything, was to actually become a deep tech and blockchain analysis company. And why is that? Well, the 5-AMLD, so the fifth anti-money laundering directive, came into play in the beginning of this year, and it really changed the whole sphere of what was going on. It made so that companies would have to be compliant with all of the financial aspects of blockchain, and also in the banking and financial systems. But not only that, but also it allowed for blockchain to grow, become more safer space to transact with, allowing for you to be able to trace and giving this kind of transparency within the asset tokenization. But we did see some challenges with this as well. And that was the rise of criminal activities related to virtual currencies across all sectors. The lack of actually simple yet effective tools for tracking and prevention of these illicit activities. And not only that, but also in the more centralized world, we saw that banks and other financial players were still at risk from cryptocurrencies. So what did we do? We built an anti-money laundering platform. There you could get automated risk scoring, real-time analysis on transactions going on. We have a very unique database built over 2 years of experience with that. And not only that, but you could do reporting and due diligence checks on transactions and these wallets, in this sense, kind of like the accounts. Not only that, but we also built a Pathfinder. And there you can actually see the decentralized transaction data graphs. You can conduct live investigations, track the flow of assets that are happening on the blockchain all the way to exchanges. So you really can try and see who the culprits are. Our business model is pretty simple. We cater to B2B and banks, cybersecurity professionals, and government organizations. We do this through software as a service. We can white label the solution completely for the bigger companies, and we also lease it to government institutions. The market is really, really ripe right now. We see that the governance and risk solutions will rise until $51 billion in the next 4 years. And not only that, but the World Economic Forum recently put out a study saying that Bitcoin and blockchain will be household names by 2027, where it reaches its tipping point. And right now, actually, we also see that several banks are applying for Bitcoin licenses, 40 of them in Germany. We do have some competitors out there. We feel that they are very complex to use. They have a very high cost, and you really have to, they are very catered towards the investigations, and that you really have to be a professional to use this. We decided to automate a lot of those things, make it user-friendly for basically everybody, and we can be very cost-effective for compliance teams. We have achieved some things in the past few months that we've been working. We were the first company to be backed by the government in Finland. We won the innovation pitch at the Tallinn event for cryptocurrencies. We have some Nordic clients, a lot of that also thanks to Frankfurt, Accelerator Frankfurt. And we're actually in negotiations with some of the Fortune 500 companies right around the world. Our team is built up by professionals within digitalization, investment banking. We have some PhDs developing the core codes, as well as we have some pretty sturdy advisors and internationalization experts, and as well cryptographers working with multiple patents behind their belts. So we're very happy about our team, and we really believe that we have built something very cool here. We're opening up around for between 200 to 500K. The capital deployment will be mostly research and development, as well as trying to scale the team and internationalize to the markets in Central Europe, DACH, starting with that as well. So yeah, that's about it from us, a short description. And of course, we can talk a lot more in the private sessions. But thank you very much for listening. And let's go to questions.
Spot on. Thank you very much, Sven. You did it in 4.5 minutes, so well done. Panelists, yeah, the floor is yours. Feel free to ask the questions.
Do you have any paying customers today? And if so, can you talk a little bit about your business model?
Yeah, so we do have some paying customers. Of course, we just started kind of commercializing just a few months ago. And that is, of course, when you're building a compliance tool, you really need to know that the tech works and that you're not doing anything that would kind of harm the customers. But in the months that we've been active, we now have 3 customers, and we have a few on the pilot stages. And they are all these kind of early adopters. So these are crypto exchanges, and they're set in the Nordics. We're hoping to expand one more in Central Europe. But yeah, so they are working under the software as a service scheme. This is kind of what we play with when it comes to the exchanges and the B2B section. So monthly payments.
When you take on a new customer, do you have to integrate with their existing solution? Can you just describe a little bit about the friction?
Yeah, so we do have the APIs, which you connect through an API, and you can use the service as is on our website. We have the full capability to that as well, but you can integrate that into your own existing systems, CRMs and such. So it's a fairly simple integration and standard API.
Thank you.
You benchmark yourself against Chain Analysis, who I think were the first in this field. Mm-hmm. And you mentioned their system as being fairly complex. So in how far does yours differ from them if yours is so much more user-friendly?
Well, actually, we have seen that, of course, our competitors, many of them are very feature-heavy, right? And sure, you can do a pretty big analysis on those systems, but when it comes down to just becoming compliant and staying compliant, we feel that we have taken away a bunch of features that we felt were unnecessary, and we have gotten that feedback from quite a lot of different organizations that, you know, it's nicer to have a bit less features and really focus on what's important, because that also gives us the speed to be able to do analysis. And not only that, but you don't have to be a professional. You don't have to be a professional investigator. You don't have to take courses for 3 weeks courses to use the system. You can really just start using it quite simply, actually. As long as you know what you're looking at, it's fine. You know, as long as you're working with crypto, you'll probably quite easily grasp what it is you need to do.
Hi, Sven. A couple of questions from my side, please. If you can elaborate, what is the onboarding issues you are facing, if at all? Meaning, how easy it is to take your product on board? That's the first one. And second, of course, as you already mentioned, I think in one of the meetings, your technology is evolving with the world. Let's call it. It's a never-ending story. So. How do you see your ongoing supporting efforts that you will need to put behind your customers as you progress your platform?
That's a really good question. So like when we're onboarding new clients, they already very often know that they have to do some form of compliance, right? And that is because the regulations are existing and they've been pushed everywhere, but they just don't know how. So the first step we always do is to actually educate them on how the regulation looks like and where our tool would be most relevant for them. So even if they're implementing different features of our tool, we really try and trickle it down to like, what is it that you actually need so that you can be compliant already tomorrow, right? And we on the pilot clients that we had, in the beginning, it would take maybe 2 months to implement our tool and really have that process going down. But now, the past few months now, we see that this takes just a mere 2 weeks and they're implemented and they can already start using the tool quite flexibly. And not only that, but in the past few weeks during this accelerator program, actually, we have even been able to add another set of coins. So to really develop and be able to analyze not only Bitcoin and Ether, but also the other coins that are coming in right now in the next couple of weeks. So that is kind of part of doing this development. But not only that, but the COVID-19 situation has also led to a lot of ransomwares, right, happening. And a lot of them are Bitcoin scams. We have been able to meet that demand quite effectively, if I may say so. And that's really, thank you so much to our team to have really built this, like our CTO. Thank you, Josh.
Awesome, guys. We are running out of time. Just one quick question we have from one of our mentors. She sent a message, Rita Müntonen. How do you think is the German market ready for something like Valega? If you can give me a 20-second answer.
I think absolutely. We already saw that the financial institutions are going for Bitcoin brokerages, and yes, even though we're talking about huge banks, that doesn't mean that SMEs aren't going to do this as well. We saw, for example, Bitvala being one of the companies in Germany also now really trying to expand to getting their financial licenses, and situations like ours, solutions like ours can really help that.
Very good. Excellent. Sven, thank you very much. Please check the chat. I believe someone's asking about your valuation. I'd rather